Now let's get into the cash piece, right? So here in this section over here, I've got all my bank accounts and my cash and related items. So there's your bank account. I have, like, let's say, one bank account is in Pak rupees. It has a balance of 10,000, simple zakat, calculation 2.5, and this is the currency. This is the currency you want to give zakat in. So let's say, I want to give zakat in Pakistan. So I would prefer to have this calculation done in Pak rupees, right? Or if, let's say, I want to, let's say I'm based in the US and I have some income from Pakistan, but I want to pay zakat in the US, then I need to change this to USD. So whatever that is, my choice, I can do that. And this will change the currency or whatever. And then, so if it's going to be, let's say it's Pak rupees, and then I have a bank account in Pak rupees, the zakat is due in Pak rupees. That's why over here you'll see in the formula, it's just multiplied by 1. So that is, there's no currency change because the source is the same as what I'm going to pay in zakat in. Then the another account, the USD, similar. Here you see that it's being converted into Pak rupees. It's picking up the formula from, if I can show you, it's picking up the formula from here, right? And then important thing is that you can remove, you can minus your credit cards. So any balances that you have on the credit cards can be removed from these bank accounts. Now the thing to remember about credit cards is if these credit cards are being used for short-term loan purposes. If they're being used for long-term loans, like you've got like balances sitting on these credit cards for 2-3 years, then you cannot deduct them from the bank account. Because according to the ulama, and this is again becoming like more like a detailed fiqh issue, but according to the ulama, short-term, because if it was a loan that's due right now, you would have paid it. The fact that you didn't pay it, you have this ease, or you have this facility. It means it's not like a critical or an urgent loan. So it's not going to impact your ability to pay zakat. So therefore, you should only use those short-term loans or that are due right now, or in the short term, very close by, that you have to pay. So credit cards, let's say if you have a credit card balance, let's say some people, like, I mean, I do that as well. Whatever is due at the end of the month, I pay it off. I don't even let it linger on. I don't get charged interest or charges or anything like that. So I use my credit card more like, you can say it's more like a debit card pretty much, except that I use it first and then pay for it at the end of the month. So so then in that case, that you can deduct those amounts from your bank account, right? Or the amount that's so these are negative, right? Are negatives, and this would basically reduce your bank account, because the idea is at the end you have to just pay this back, right? So if I have 1,000 here in USD and I've got 50 sitting on my credit card, I'll pay this in like a few days or in a week or 2 weeks, and this will go away and this will become 950 or whatever the amount is, right, after deduction. So and then you need to remember that you have cash on hand as well, money in your wallet, money in those piggy banks or whatever you have at home, money in sometimes currencies are just lying there, you don't even know. So just make an effort, and that's why this is a good exercise. If you're doing zakat calculation every year, it's a good exercise to also assess your own financial worth. It's a way of looking at it and then thanking Allah, like Alhamdulillah, He's blessed you with so much, right? Sometimes people don't even realize that. So this is a good opportunity to do that as well. So cash on hand, go find that money that you have and put that in here and figure out how much it is in terms of zakat. Lastly, there are also points. Now there's a lot of whether it's banks, whether it's the credit cards, it's airlines, grocery stores. All of these are basically offering a lot of points. So and these points basically are also like money, except in some cases they also give you cash back on, let's say, your balance or something. But in other cases you can buy stuff very cool, and like you can buy air tickets, you can buy other stuff and all that. So that points should also come in. Now of course you need to approximate, like how much is it? Like for instance here I'm for instance you have 1,000 points. Let's say you've got 1,000 points, and each point is you do approximate. You know, you go online and see what you can buy, the rewards you can get, and all that. If it's cashed easily, then yeah, that's the straight number. But let's say they say you know, it's 1 to 10, so then it becomes 10, right? So that's the idea. And then zakat is due on that as well, because that's pretty much like equivalent to cash. But remember, I mean, in those days there was no cash, right? Then when zakat was implemented, it was more about your purchasing things, that your purchasing power. Gold was there, silver was there, wheat was there. I mean, there were other items. So again, points now are also a form of purchasing power. You have that. You can use that to buy things you need as well, although restricted, but still it's there, right? So that is something to keep in mind as well. There are other things as well, but I am stopping here on this one because I don't want to overwhelm as well. If there are specific items you would like to discuss, a specific situation, I'm willing to do that as well. Just drop me a note or something and we can figure that out. Now on the right side here, I've got deposits, refunds, loans to others, right? So this is basically, let's say school fees, right? Sometimes in private schools, they take security deposits. So you leave the money with them, it's refundable whenever the kid leaves or whatever. So that you need to put in here. You need to remember that you put this money, it belongs to you, they're keeping it, but you can get it back, right? So zakat is due on that as well, right? So it's, and similarly, let's say sometimes electricity companies and all these hydro companies and all that, they also take some deposits, right? That all is going to go into zakat as well, because it's like money they're holding on to. It's your money, but they're holding on to it. Refunds, receivables. For instance, you know, a company owes you a refund for whatever reasons, credit card or on something else that or you give some a short-term loan to a relative, for instance, or someone, you know, like a brother or someone who said, you know, I just need the money for like a couple of months, give it to me, I'll give you back. So you give them that money, but you're expecting to receive. I mean, it's almost certain they're going to pay you back. No one said no, they cannot. If they say they cannot pay you back, or if you know that their financial situation is so bad that it won't be, there's no point in asking them right now, then that money you don't need to add back in. That money, there's no zakat due on that money. That is again ulama's opinion, that there's no money due on that, because that, I mean, you're not even sure you can get the money back. But where you're sure, like, I mean, if the other person is saying it is committed and they're going to give it back to you soon and you're expecting, then you should include this back, because again, that's like a security deposit. It's just that the person, it's a loan that the person needs to get back to you. Now let's say other deposits. So other deposits could be, for instance, a property. Sometimes, and it's not, so this is where it gets tricky. You have to be sure as to what are the terms of the agreement. So for instance, someone's buying a property and they made a deposit. They've given a deposit as an offer. Now, in some cases, that deposit is refundable. Like for instance, if that person says, you know, they're still deciding on the offer, and so if it's refundable and you get the money back, then you have to pay zakat on it. In some cases, it's not refundable. Like if the deal is committed and then you decide to walk away, you lose the money. So if that's a situation where you lose the money, then there will be no zakat, right? So over here, you don't include that. But if it's a deposit, money that you can get back, or it's such a deposit that is going to be like a deduction. For instance, they say, oh, we're going to return you 50% of the deposit if that happens. Then you should only put the 50% amount here. So that's it, 50,000 is here, you put 25,000 if that is the situation. So you get the idea, basically. It's basically loans that you're almost certain you're going to get back, need to be included here, and deposits that you are, you know, basically, again, it's similar as loans that you are basically, you've given someone else for whatever reasons, for business purposes, whatever, and it's towards something else. So then you can put them in if it's refundable, right? But if a deposit has already been taken into a deal, like for instance, you made a deposit of 50,000, and then now you basically entered into this agreement of going to purchase a property, right? Then you don't need to include it in zakat here, because that is now considered as part of the purchase price of the property. Okay, I'll get into property later, but let me just first cover this piece here. Gold, silver, jewelry. So all of these zakat is due. I just put in gold here. Silver has also, you need to include silver as well. Jewelries as well. Now jewelries, those jewelries that women usually wear as part of their daily routine, like bangles, necklace, something that they're wearing. It's not like they put it aside and then just wear it once a year and no other stuff. But the one they wear on a regular basis, rings and all that, that is exempt. They don't need to pay on that. But jewelry, which is, you know, which is being held for safekeeping for whatever reasons, zakat is due. Gold, silver, and other jewelry, the value for which increases. So sometimes, I mean, there's some jewels, the value does not increase. It's, in fact, decreases. It's like secondhand, not worth it. So you need to assess that which one increases, right? Diamonds, I don't know, maybe some diamonds increase, some have 50% value, whatever. So at the end of the day, you need to decide that what jewelry you have, assess it, and then you need to assess their value as well, and then pay the account on it. Okay, so that's the so here I put in the value of gold. So it's picking up, if you see the formula here, it's picking up from here the gold rate, and it's multiplying. Yeah, so I put in the, let's say, the 88 grams, which is just approximately nisab. So I have more than nisab, just to show you that, if someone has this much gold, then they're eligible for zakat, right? So let's say 88. So 88 grams multiplied by this value, and so you get this amount, which is what is your zakat. Again, this is in Pak rupees, right?